This smells so good. What is this? Oh, goodness gracious. This is a one-woman production, okay? Goodness, what the heck is this called? Hey, bud. Let's get oh so creative. My name is Sanel. You can call me Sunny. And I am the owner of So Creative Decor and Designs, a creative floral decor company in Harlem, New York City. You can visit my website at socreativedecor.com or visit my Instagram, and the handle is So Creative Decor. You can find a link to my website and my Instagram and my other social media platforms below, as well as my email if you want to contact me. Today, I am so excited. We are going to make a beautiful arrangement with these flowers that I have today. Flowers and greenery that I have today. This is my favorite part of this whole process of purchasing the flowers, bringing them home, processing them, cleaning the stems, placing them in water, making sure that you are taking care of them and prepping them to be strong flowers that can last in your arrangements. This is my favorite part, making the arrangement. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to show you all of the tools that we have today that we're going to use to make our beautiful flower arrangements. And hopefully these are things that you have at home already. I would recommend purchasing some of these items if you don't have them, just so that you can have everything that you need to make the best arrangement. So I have 2 pairs of shears, 1 pair that I'm going to use just for my flowers, another pair that I'm going to use for my greenery. I like to use 2 pairs of shears when I'm making flower arrangements, especially when I'm using greens that have a woody stem and flowers, because with woodier stems like eucalyptus, over time the blade can become dull because it is more of a thicker stem, and I don't want to use a dull blade when I'm cutting my flowers. Also, when you cut the stem of eucalyptus branches have oil in them, and I don't want to transfer that oil to my flowers. So I just like to keep them separate. This smells so good. These are from Amazon. These I purchased when I was taking my floral decor certificate course, but I'm sure you can find these at Home Depot. Next, I have wire cutters. So I have this pair of very cute baby wire cutters. That's great when you're cutting thin wires. And then I also have my heavy duty one. I use this one more often because it's so much easier to just cut the wire with this naturally. Since I have wire cutters, I have my wire as well. I didn't want to pre-cut it because if you were to order wire, it will most likely come in a roll like this. So I kept it as the whole roll, and I'll show you how to cut it later. What I also have is some floral tape, which we will use later on in the video, and you'll see why. And then I have my 2 spray bottles, one which is with regular water, and one which is my bleach solution, and I marked it on the front. You may not be able to see it, but it says bleach. And I also have my watering buckets, which I will use to pour water inside of my vase. Which brings me to my next item. I have a vase, a very clean vase. And yes, I call it vase because it just sounds fancier. I'm working with flowers here, come on now. I don't want to call it a vase. I don't like the way that sounds. Also, I feel like I'm Canadian. I think in Canada they say vase. So, hey. Next, I have a Lazy Susan, which is helpful when it comes to making arrangements, just so that you can get a 360 view of your creation. And then, of course, I have my beautiful, beautiful blooms. I have these Melon Expression garden roses. I have some carnations, and this is parvifolia. Say it with your chest. We also have parvifolia eucalyptus here, which means small-leaved in botanical terms. And then I also have my tea that I actually made myself with some ginger, some mint leaves, and other stuff because I'm battling a cold right now. But whatever, this is essential to my flower arrangement, okay? All right, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So first, here's what we're gonna do. You need to have a clean vase. Your vase needs to be clean. Did I say clean? I'm emphasizing that it needs to be clean because you don't want to take a vase and just rinse it out, especially if it has some dirt in it, if it has some dried up whatever from your last arrangement. Please make sure you clean it out with some soap, a sponge, so that the water that you pour in can stay clean as well. We just want to make sure that we're providing the best environment for our flowers, so please make sure that you have cleaned out your vase with some soap and some water and a sponge. The next thing I want to do is I want to take my bleach solution, and in this bottle it's about, I would say, 1/10 bleach and the rest is water. And I use this bleach solution because when I've been working with flowers, I've found that the best thing to add to the water is bleach, but bleach is a chemical, can be toxic. Well, it is toxic, so you just really have to be careful. So I super diluted this bleach, and what I'm gonna do is spray in here a few times, and then I'm gonna add some more water on top of it so that it's not too potent, it's not too harmful. So I'm just gonna take this and I'm gonna spray just a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm just gonna fill this up. I'm just gonna shake it up a little bit. And if you do not want to use bleach, you can very much so use floral food. It works just as good. So next, we are going to cut some wire to place over our vase. You have this big roll of wire. Let's just cut it into a smaller piece. So I'm gonna use my heavy duty wire cutters, and I'm just gonna cut, boom, boom. When you cut the wire off, there is a sharp piece that is exposed, so you just want to be careful you don't cut yourself. So a lot of times what I like to do is just like tuck it in so that when I go back to reach for it, the sharp edges aren't just sticking out at me. Okay. So yeah, just rolling in all of the sharp edges. Boom. Now we have this large square of chicken wire. And what I'm gonna do is just place it over the top, the opening of the vase, and just measure it. And now that I've measured it, I'm gonna cut enough so that there's a few inches on each side of the wire that is left to work with. Okay, so I have this little piece left. I'm just gonna place it over the opening of the vase again, and then actually I'm gonna try to form it into a circle. So you want it to overlap a little bit, but not too much, because you want to make sure that you have gaps that you can stick the stems through. I'm just gonna form it into a little ball, and this is so that majority of your stems can have some sort of support so that they're all not hanging over the vase. This is the finished product of the circle that I have, and I want it to be big enough so that it doesn't fall inside of the opening of my vase. So I'm stretching it out a little bit. This is what it looks like on top of my vase. And now what I'm gonna do with the floral tape, scissors. You also need scissors, so I'm gonna take the floral tape and I'm gonna secure this down even more. And I don't wanna bring the tape down too far on the vase because I don't want, if this is for a client or if this is for anyone, even if it's for myself, I don't wanna see the tape. I don't wanna see how it's made. I just want to look at it and just be amazed. So I don't want to see the mechanics. And this doesn't have to be technical in any way. The best thing to do is to make sure that you do not use too much chicken wire, because I've done that plenty of times. And it just makes it way more difficult to put the flowers in and out of the vase. I kind of made a star. I added 3 pieces of tape all crossing one another. This is what it looks like. Now is the fun part. Drink some more tea. And the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a seat. I'm actually gonna stand up. So today I feel like I wanna start a greenery. We have this here. I'm trying to think of how I want this to look. So for me, I like making arrangements that are fun, creative, something that you wouldn't even imagine someone would do with flowers. This is the part where I just get creative, honestly. Typically when you have a branch like this that has multiple stems coming out of it, you can use the whole thing depending on what you want your arrangement to look like, or you can cut the branches off and use them individually. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this branch off. So now I have two separate branches. And I think I'm gonna cut this part off as well. Now I have a long branch exposed, dedicated to just this, instead of having multiple branches coming off of it. So the next thing to do with this is these leaves right here, I don't think that they're gonna reach the water line, but I'm still gonna remove them anyway. So a good way to remove the leaves on eucalyptus branches, maybe get some gloves because these branches do have oil on them and you may be allergic, you may not even know. And it's also really messy. Sometimes it's hard to get it off your hands with just soap and water. Get some gloves, and what you can do is literally just strip the leaves off just like that. It smells so good. I think I'm gonna put it here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna stick this into the chicken wire. So there's some that I have to cut off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it at an angle. And this is the part where you just have to trust yourself. So I actually want this to lay low. I want it to lay like this. I'm gonna cut this even shorter. And as you can see, yeah, I'm struggling. Sometimes it's a process. Most times it's a process. One last thing that you can do to secure all three pieces of the tape is to just have the tape go all around the vase as well. Ooh, it's getting hot in here. Okay. So this is another way to make it super secure. So I shifted things around a little bit because I have a mirror in front of me that I like to use to see how the arrangement is coming along. So I just wanted to shift over so I have that view. I want this to be a little bit more dramatic. And I'm just thinking about where else I can add some more of this eucalyptus to hang. Or which piece would be perfect to add that extra drama that I'm looking for. I think I found my winner. Give this a nice fresh cut. Make sure that there aren't any leaves that will fall into the water. Even though only a part of the stem is going to be inside the water, you do want to make sure that you remove enough of the leaves so that none can fall in at all, because I already had some leaves that fell inside the water. Okay, so now I am going to add this to the arrangement, and I want it to drape more dramatically. And you do want to make sure that it's secure somehow. So secure it within enough holes of the chicken wire. I like to play music too when I'm doing this. I'll put on a podcast. Alright, so now I have more of it that's draping, which is what I like. I think I want to start adding flowers now. So let me put the rest of this eucalyptus back in the water. When it comes to adding the flowers, right? I'm sorry, this makes me so happy. My goal when placing flowers is seeing where do I want the flowers to be? What is the movement that I want to create? What sort of look am I trying to achieve? So before I even add the flower inside the water, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the guard petals. So the petals that are on the outside, you just want a fresh look. You can use the petals for decoration. So remove as much as you think is needed. And look at this beautiful, beautiful rose. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to put these shears aside so that I don't get them confused. And then I'm going to cut it longer than I know I want it to be, just because I'm trying to see how how much I actually need to cut just to get it to where I want it to be. And I'm cutting it at a super sharp 45-degree angle. And I want it to be a little bit lower. So, and I want it to be at an angle. I want it to sit right above, yep. I want it to sit right above the greenery that's draping just like that. Okay, I'm gonna keep on adding these flowers because I just want to fill it up a little bit more before I add filler flowers. And the filler flowers would be my carnations, and the filler greenery would be the rest of my eucalyptus. All right, and I'm just spreading it open with my fingers just so that it can be a little bit wider. And then I'm gonna cut this some more. And what I wanna do, I wanna create movement, right? Like so far, I already have so much going on one side. Let me cut this a little bit shorter at a severe 45-degree angle. I'm gonna create movement. That's my goal right now. So I'm creating movement by adding more at different heights. And I already processed these flowers yesterday, so that's why I'm not removing any leaves or prickles from the stems. So some fun facts about flowers, about roses specifically. So these are garden roses, and garden roses, they're wider, they're beautiful. All roses are beautiful. They have this distinct look to them. They are available all year round. Garden roses, as opposed to hybrid tea roses, don't last as long. It's just best to change the water every day. Make sure the water's clean. Make sure you're keeping them away from heat and any drafts. It's so good to enjoy your flowers once you get them. Put them in a clean vase and clean water. In 1986, President Ronald Reagan actually declared roses the national flower of the United States. I'm just gonna keep on creating as much movement as I can. And when I say movement, I'm meaning height, angles, all these different things. So you can see this coming along so far. Sometimes you might have to remove more petals than others because some petals are already getting old and decaying, and that's okay. Good thing about garden roses is that they have so many petals. I'm gonna cut one of these super short so that I can just put it right there. And I'm gonna keep on going. I'm gonna keep on adding more roses. They are actually the most popular flower that is grown for decorations, for the purpose of providing beautiful decor to whatever space it's intended to be in. Make sure it's touching the water. You can always add more water. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to add some of the spray carnations that I have. Whenever the term spray is in front of a flower, spray carnations, spray roses, that just means that the stem has multiple branches of that flower. Like this, instead of being just one single carnation stem, it has multiple blooms of carnations on this one stem. I'm going to remove whatever it is that I don't want to use. And whatever it is you don't want to use is completely up to you and your desired look. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start adding this in just to fill it. I'm going to cut this slow to the point where this is going to come off. That bud comes off. Okay, and I'm just going to stick it in there like this. I'm loving it already. So carnations are also flowers that are available all year long. So you'll be able to find these at the supermarket, at your local flower market, or anywhere all year long. And I don't know why carnations have such a bad rap. They are beautiful flowers and they're so durable. Carnations last about 14 days if you take care of them the right way. They're very long lasting flowers. I don't know why so many people don't like them. I have so many brides that are like, no carnations please. And I'm like, really? Really? What is it about carnations? What did you do? What did y'all do to people? I want to add some more of these spray carnations. So I'm taking off these little green pieces here. I want them to be super low. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with it. It's so pretty already. And you want to make sure everything is in the water. Anything that's not in the water, just just move it around. Alright, something needs to go here. So I do have a whole bunch of stems that are here. So another thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna start adding them. Adding them in. The stem is broken, so what I'm gonna do is cut it. I'm gonna cut it up above the little nub. I'm just gonna make it super short, but that's okay, as long as it's touching the water. Just trying to add some filler. And again, I'm removing all of the greens that will build inside of the water. And I'm adding them in so that when you look down at the arrangement, you're not looking at gaps. It's a different thing to look at an arrangement from afar and be like, oh, it looks so beautiful. I think it's also great to make sure that from every angle, when you look at the arrangement, you don't see any gaps. So I want some carnations, let's see. So I'm just looking in my mirror just to see if there's any empty spaces where I can add some carnations. I think I should add some here. So yes, let me add that here. So I'll cut this piece off, take off these greens, and I think I'm gonna cut it about here because I still want this piece to be tall. And I also want it to come out at an angle. So that's why I'm just gonna manipulate it inside of the chicken wire. Okay. So this is what we're working with so far, which I like. So whatever I have here, I just want to use them. Again, use them, stick them inside the chicken wire. Every single piece is going to be used. And a cute trick, if you have a bud that's like this and you want to get it open, you'll just pinch the green part of the carnation between your thumb and your index finger, and you can just get it to open like that. So it's opened now, and you just take your index finger, you just lightly graze it over the top. And now you have an open bud. And I'm just going to put inside of the arrangement. I feel like something is missing here. So since this is the showstopper, I'm going to add this right here. And I love these colors. I'm gonna make this a little bit shorter because I want this to stick out at an angle. I want it to be here. Okay? That's where I want it to be here. Since I want it to be here, let's stick it in that way. Boom. 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 Tow down. Watch out now. Now I have my carnations, I have my garter roses inside, and I have my cute little dramatic hanging eucalyptus. Now I think it's time to add some more eucalyptus. I'm going to switch my shears to my eucalyptus shears. Even on the branches that I'm keeping on, I'm still going to remove some of the leaves from higher up. Okay? I want as many leaves as possible to be gone so that I reduce the risk of leaves falling inside the arrangement as I'm sticking up through the chicken wire and taking them out. And now it's all about filling it in. And then I want to wrap it around this stem. Yeah. Now right here is missing something for me. What do you guys think? I think a garden rose. Come on now! You feel me? You feel me? This piece, I want to right here. But I'm going to add more of the carnations. Oh, see how I just pulled that off? I need something here. So what's really cool about eucalyptus is that eucalyptus is a healing plant, and a lot of people use them as remedies for fevers, colds, aching joints. They're antibacterial, they're anti-inflammatory, antiseptic like alcohol is. They smell so stinking good. And they grow on trees that grow pretty tall. They grow over 200 feet. Wherever I don't see garden rose when I spin this is where I want a garden rose to be. You guys know roses are a symbol of love. A symbol of love. I don't see one here, so I'm gonna put one smack there. I kind of want it to be a little bit taller, because those are the same height, and I don't like that. Me being me. I'm going to add some more carnations here. I mean, it's just so beautiful. You just have to love your own work. When I host flowering workshops, the one thing that happens every single time is no one loves their own flower arrangement, but the person next to them always loves the next person's flower arrangement. It's really an example of how people are their own worst critics, because you will look at your own arrangement and be like, this is gross. And then the person next to you would be like, oh my gosh, that is beautiful. Just love what you do and don't wait for somebody else to love it for you. So now it is time to add more eucalyptus, and I'm going to add the eucalyptus lower so that it fills the arrangement. This is pretty. This is so pretty. Ooh, this is a good one. It has a long stem. The top is blooming with leaves. It'll cover way more surface area. It's going to take off the branches from the bottom and the leaves. Now I'm working with this, and this is perfect. Cut it. I might want to cut it lower too. And now it's all about filling in the gaps. Right here, I want to add some more carnation. Hopefully this is the last thing that I'm adding. What I'm thinking is to add this through here in a way where it comes through the green. And I am all done. I am all done. Look at this beauty. I'm all done. I may add some more somewhere else, but let me just say, this has been so much fun. I hope that you learned enough about eucalyptus, carnations, and garden roses. I hope to see you on the next video.